Okay, but really, how many times have you been scrolling through social media and thought, come on, does everyone else have it figured out?
It's easy to get caught up in that comparison trap.
Totally. They're out there getting dream jobs and traveling the world and just, like, radiating success.
And you're hitting the snooze button again.
Exactly. Well, today we're diving deep into something that might just be the key to unlocking that success feeling for ourselves.
Interesting.
Positive thinking. Now, I know, cue the cheesy music.
Right, everyone's got that image.
But we're going way beyond the surface here. We're going to look at the real science and the actual tools you can use to make this stuff work.
I love that. Because positive thinking, it gets misunderstood a lot.
Oh, for sure.
People think it's about ignoring problems, pretending everything's perfect.
Like toxic positivity.
Yeah, it's not that at all. It's more about approaching life's challenges with this mindset that's like solution-oriented.
Okay, so believing you could overcome obstacles.
And focusing on what's going right instead of getting stuck on what's wrong.
So less about fake smiles, more about that can-do spirit.
Exactly. You got it.
Because let's be real, forcing happiness 24/7, that'd be exhausting.
And probably a little creepy.
Yeah, thanks. But, okay, how does just shifting your mindset actually lead to, like, measurable success? Is there really a connection?
The connection is huge. Research has shown that positive thinking can really impact your motivation,
Oh, interesting.
your resilience, and even how well you solve problems.
Huh.
For example, there was this study, it was published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, and it found that salespeople who were optimistic, they outsold the pessimistic ones by a crazy amount, like 56%.
56%, it's a landslide.
Right. And it's because they were more resilient when they faced rejection, more persistent, and they saw setbacks as temporary.
So it's not just about, like, feeling good. It's about thinking in a way that actually gets you to your goals.
You got it.
This is blowing my mind.
Yay.
What about the physical side of things? You mentioned earlier that positive thinking can impact physical health, too.
Yeah. This is where it gets even more interesting.
Okay, I'm ready.
So chronic stress, which often comes from those negative thought patterns we're talking about,
Right, okay.
it releases hormones like cortisol.
Ah, cortisol, the stress hormone.
And that can really mess with our bodies over time, increasing risks of things like heart disease,
Wow.
diabetes, even depression.
It's like a domino effect.
It really is. But positive thinking, it's been shown to lower cortisol, reduce inflammation.
So it's like a shield against those negative effects.
Exactly.
Wait, are you telling me that just by changing how I think, I could potentially live longer?
There's a strong correlation.
I knew those grumpy cats were onto something.
Studies on people who live to be 100 or older, centenarians, consistently show that they tend to have really positive outlooks on life.
Makes sense.
They focus on the good, embrace challenges, keep a sense of purpose even when things are tough.
Okay, I'm starting to see the light here, but let's be real. Life isn't all sunshine and rainbows. What about when things are really tough? Am I supposed to just slap a smile on and pretend everything's okay?
Not at all. Positive thinking isn't about denying reality or pretending negative emotions don't exist.
Okay, good, because that would be impossible.
You need to acknowledge all your feelings, even the difficult ones.
Right.
Bottling things up only makes them worse.
So it's more about, like, accepting those negative emotions are part of life?
Yes.
But choosing not to let them totally run the show.
You've got it. It's recognizing you have power over how you respond to tough situations.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Mm-hmm.
But how do we actually do that? How do we shift from feeling overwhelmed by negativity to having a more positive mindset?
There's no magic formula, but there are proven techniques to rewire your thinking.
Ooh, I like the sound of that.
One really powerful one is gratitude journaling.
Okay, I've heard of that.
It's amazing what taking a few minutes each day to write down what you're grateful for can do.
I used to think it was a bit cheesy, but I tried it a few months ago. Honestly, I was surprised by how much it changed things.
In what way?
I started noticing little things I usually took for granted, like a beautiful sunset or a good cup of coffee.
It's amazing how those small things can shift your whole perspective.
It's like training your brain to see the silver linings, even on cloudy days.
I love that analogy.
So gratitude journaling. What else can we do to get more positive?
Affirmations are another great tool.
Affirmations, those are the I am strong, I am capable kind of things.
Exactly. You repeat positive statements to yourself, either silently or out loud, to challenge those negative thoughts.
I used to think this stuff was a bit woo-woo, but Is there actually any science behind it?
There is. It all comes down to neuroplasticity.
Neuroplasticity.
The brain's ability to change and adapt.
Oh, right.
By consistently repeating positive affirmations, you're basically creating new pathways in your brain, strengthening the connections associated with those positive thoughts.
So it's like less wishful thinking and more like actual brain training.
Yeah, exactly. It's like carving a new groove into a record. The more you play it, the deeper and more ingrained it becomes.
I'm into that. So we've got gratitude journaling, affirmations. What else?
Visualization is another powerful one.
Visualization. So like if I imagine myself winning an Olympic gold medal, it'll magically happen.
Huh. Not quite magic, but it's more powerful than you might think.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Olympic athletes use visualization all the time to mentally prepare for competitions.
Oh, that makes sense.
They imagine themselves performing perfectly, feeling that rush of victory, hearing the crowd.
So it's kind of like practicing a speech in your head before the big day. You're mentally prepping yourself for success.
Exactly.
You know, I think I've actually done that without realizing it. Before a big job interview, I always picture myself walking in confident, nailing the question.
There you go. You're already tapping into the power of visualization.
Oh, look at me. Maybe that's my secret weapon.
It's about using your imagination to create the future you want. But these techniques, as powerful as they are, maintaining a positive mindset can be toughest when life throws you a curveball.
Oh, tell me about it.
And that's something we'll explore more deeply next time.
I'm already hooked. Let's keep this positivity train rolling.
Absolutely. When you're right in the middle of a tough situation, it's so easy to feel like you're drowning in negativity.
Oh, absolutely. It's like my brain knows all these positive thinking tips we've been talking about.
Right.
But my heart just wants to like curl up and hide.
That's totally normal. It's important to let yourself feel those emotions. Suppressing them only makes it worse.
Okay, that makes sense. But how do we, like, ride those waves of negativity without letting them completely take us under? What helps?
One thing that can really help is focusing on what you can control.
Okay.
When you feel overwhelmed, it's easy to fixate on everything you can't change.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But shifting your focus to the things you can influence,
yeah,
that gives you back a sense of power.
I can see that. But in the middle of all that chaos, it can be hard to even know where to start.
Start with asking yourself, what in this situation is actually within my power to change?
I like that. So simple, but powerful.
Right. Maybe it's your attitude, maybe it's your actions, maybe it's just how you're looking at things.
Even small changes can make a big difference.
Exactly. Instead of dwelling on what you can't do anything about,
right,
put that energy into finding solutions where you can make a difference.
It's like you're taking back control.
Exactly. Another technique that's really helpful is what we call reframing.
Reframing. So like finding the positive spin on a negative situation.
It's more than just putting a spin on it. It's about seeing those tough situations as opportunities for growth, for learning.
You know what? I did that without even realizing it a few years ago.
Oh, yeah? Tell me about it.
I went through this awful breakup, just totally shattered me at the time.
Heartbreak is so tough.
But looking back, I realized it forced me to figure out what I really wanted, you know? And it led me to a much better relationship.
That's a perfect example of reframing. You took something that felt devastating and turned it into a catalyst for growth.
It's crazy how our perspective can completely change the meaning of something.
It really is. It does take practice, though.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And sometimes it helps to have someone else's point of view.
Yeah, like a sounding board.
Talking to a friend, a therapist, even a mentor can help you see things in a new light.
Sometimes you just need someone to remind you that you're not a failure just because things are tough.
Exactly. And that brings us to another really important piece of staying positive. Self-compassion.
Self-compassion. So like being nice to yourself.
It's about being kind to yourself, but it goes deeper than that. It's realizing you're human, you're going to make mistakes.
They all do.
And you're worthy of love, even when you mess up.
I think that's something a lot of people struggle with, myself included.
It's so easy to be hard on ourselves.
Way too easy.
But when we practice self-compassion, we give ourselves the safe space to learn and grow.
Without beating ourselves up.
Exactly. It's like giving yourself permission to be perfectly imperfect.
Love that. And remembering that setbacks are just part of life.
They really are. It's how we respond to them that shapes who we are and ultimately our success.
This is making me feel so much more ready to handle whatever comes my way.
That's great to hear.
Like you've given me this whole new toolbox to navigate the ups and downs with more grace.
And the best part is, those tools are always there for you.
They're just waiting to be used.
It's about practicing until they become second nature.
So we're not victims of our circumstances. We can actually shape our experience.
You got it. You have the power to choose your thoughts, your actions, and ultimately, your destiny.
Whoa, okay, that's powerful stuff. But I have to ask, is there such a thing as being too positive? Like, does it ever backfire?
That's a great question, and one we should definitely explore.
Because there's a difference between healthy optimism and, like, what some people call toxic positivity.
Exactly. And that's something we're going to dive into next time.
Ooh, can't wait. Let's unpack that.
You know, it's funny, because we've been talking about all the great things about positive thinking.
Yeah.
But there's kind of another side to it, something we need to be aware of.
You mean that toxic positivity thing?
Yeah.
Where it's like, you have to be cheerful all the time, no matter what.
Exactly. And it can feel so inauthentic.
I've met those good vibes only people, and it's like, are you for real?
It's that pressure to never show any negative emotions, to just slap a smile on even when you're hurting.
And pretend everything's perfect when it's clearly not.
And while the people pushing that might mean well,
right,
that kind of forced positivity can actually do more harm than good.
Okay, so how is being positive in the wrong way actually bad for you? That seems kind of backwards.
Think of it like this. Imagine trying to bottle up all your negative emotions. Sadness, anger, frustration, like stuffing them into a tiny box.
Okay, I'm visualizing it.
You can keep the lid on for a while, but eventually that box is going to explode and all those feelings come spilling out.
So it's not that those negative feelings just disappear. They're just hiding out until they can't anymore.
Exactly. When we don't let ourselves process those difficult emotions,
right,
they don't magically go away. They can come out in unhealthy ways.
Like what kinds of ways?
It can be physical, emotional, even how you act. You might start getting weird aches and pains, or develop unhealthy habits, or even lash out at people.
Wow, so it really can have a ripple effect.
It really can. So the key is finding that balance.
Between good vibes and, like, acknowledging the not-so-good ones, too.
You got it. Be honest with yourself about how you're really feeling. Let yourself feel the whole range of emotions without judging them.
So it's okay to not be okay sometimes.
Exactly. Sadness, anger, frustration, they're all part of being human, just like happiness and joy.
It's like you're not trying to pretend the darkness isn't there. You're just choosing to walk towards the light.
I love that. And when those tough emotions come up, which they will, it's about dealing with them in a healthy way.
Like journaling or talking to someone you trust.
Exactly. Or even seeking professional help if you need it.
This whole conversation has been so eye-opening. I feel like I'm finally understanding what positive thinking is really all about.
I'm glad to hear that.
It's not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about choosing how we react to things, how we shape our own experience.
That's the power of it. It's not magic. It's a choice we make every day.
And the best part is, anyone can learn to do it.
Exactly. Just like learning a new skill, it takes practice and patience.
And being kind to ourselves along the way.
Absolutely. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling pretty inspired to put all this into action.
Me too. Imagine if we all approach things with this positive mindset.
Believing we can overcome challenges, focusing on the good, even when things are tough.
What a world that would be. So, to everyone listening, here's a challenge.
I like it.
What if, just for today, you try approaching everything with a little more positivity? You might be surprised at what happens. Until next time, keep those minds curious, keep those hearts open, and keep those vibes positive.